Okay, kids, I'm going to give you a bit of a history lesson. We're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons from 1974. If you go all the way back there, you might look for something. War aspects of the game that are known to be quite popular, at least you hear from people that they are. And you'll hear about miniatures and grids, but when you get back to 1974, for some strange reason, what you'll find is the people playing the game are not using miniatures or grids. You'll find that they're playing the game pure theater of the mind. And some of the explanations that you'll hear years later from a person like Gary Gygax in interviews is that the players are like actors, in a play, right, in a movie or something like that. So clearly, they started off as pure theater of the mind, and you have Gary himself that sort of sees it as theater with actors, right? Now, a few years later, to make the game easier in certain ways, they brought out grids, miniatures, right? They started applying war, more to the game than they did before. That's true, but it's not how the game started. And there's a lot of people out there that will be very deceitful with their explanation about the history of Dungeons and Dragons and the aim to say miniatures, grid, and all that is better than pure theater of the mind. You'll even get some that will lie. They'll come out and say, that was something people from the outside brought to the game. That's not really what the game was. Well, sorry, that's what the game was in 1974. And, I take my inspiration from that time. I do pure theater of the mind, just like how the game started. Like, I see the game in many ways like Gary really did see the game. And even Dave Arneson seen the game in this way, in many ways. It took a few years before you see the grids, miniatures, and some of the more popular, war aspects of D&D starting to be pushed or used, and what have you. Now, I am okay with the history and how it relates, war with D&D and miniatures and grids, and I'm okay with all of that. Yeah, D&D has a history of that. It's not where it started, but it has a history of that. And I never bring that up in a way to attack miniature gameplay or, attack the war aspects that people, today like about the old school. I don't bring that up to say theater of the mind is the way it's meant to be, it's better, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I could try to make that argument, right? That I think it was meant to be the way it started, but I don't. I don't try to degrade miniature, grid play in that way. I don't try to degrade the war aspects of the game that came out later, right? I have no issue with them at all. But if you're going to use that in any way to deceive or just straight out, even with truth, but leaving things out, try to degrade theater of the mind gameplay, I got to be real with you. I mean, it just doesn't line up. Here's Gary calling players actors and the game in 1974 starting off as theater of the mind with actors. Get it? Right? Now, again, I'm all good with people that like miniatures, like war, as it relates to D&D and the rules and that gameplay. It's all good with me. Get on your grid, have a good time. But stop, in many deceitful ways to, just pure straight out lying. Stop trying to degrade pure theater of the mind. Each way has its place with Dungeons and Dragons. Each way has a history with Dungeons and Dragons that marries that way to the actual system. One is not the right way compared to the other. Understand that? Are we fucking clear? Alright, good. Anyway, for now, take care. You know what you can do? You can hit the like button. You can share the video. Oh, and there's another button you can press. That one that lets you subscribe to my channel for more content. Oh yeah, there's that bell thing. You can press that so you know when I've uploaded a new video right away.